Okay, now so I'm going to show to you how would I combine those movements starting from my neck, my shoulders, my spine, my hips, my knees and ankles. So for me, I would always start with on the breathing position. So I'll be getting down to the floor, practicing 5 to 10 breaths. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, then breathing out. Then once I feel that my body is getting a bit relaxed and can breathe even better, now I'm going to go to the ankle stuff. So I'll always start from the ground up. Okay, so for the ankle stuff, same as to what I've shown earlier on, rotating my toes, ankles in first, extending my knee, pointing my toes out, bending my knee. So I'm doing some controlled rotations. So again, doing this one, 5 to 15, 5 to 20, depending on how much you would want to do. Okay, so it's, again, video is just how I put it all together. Okay, now and for the pelvic tilts, sometimes my back is feeling a bit stiff. I'm gonna get onto this position, then practice my pelvic tilts from that one. Okay, so as you can see the movement of my lower back here, I'm keeping my eyes looking straight up, my chest pointing up, hands underneath my shoulders, knees underneath my hips. Okay, so from there, doing the pelvic tilts. So just moving this part of my hips. So that's what we call extension, flexion, extension, flexion of the back. And sometimes I even go to my full range of flexion, back extension. Then I'm matching it with my breathing, so I can breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. So onto these movements, it's very important on not to rush them. Do it as slow and controlled as you can. What we're after is not the number of repetitions, but the quality of the movement that we're trying to produce. So after doing my hips, now I've done my ankles, my knees, my pelvic tilts, now I'm going to proceed onto my hip rotations. But another variation that you can do is being on the floor. It is getting on that position. So if you have watched my video earlier on, I'd explained about the hip external and internal rotation. So if I go into the side angle, I have one leg position here, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. This hip is positioned to rotate externally, or my hips is rotating out. As compared to this hip, it is rotating in. So what I'm about to do first is to just give a more of a flossing kind of stretching movement for this part of my hips. So I'm placing both of my hands forward, shoulders back, chest is up, and I'm thinking as if I'm folding from my hips. So breathing in and slowly breathing out as I fold forward. This is how it looks from the front angle. Breathing in, breathing out. So I would feel that big stretch here, which is pretty good. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, and slowly breathing out. And if I do feel that my hips are pretty tight, so today this part of my hip, which is the internal rotation, feels pretty tight, I would want to spend more time here. But for me to save time and not to make my warm-up too long, I can start my neck movement from here. Why not? So just placing both of my hands on the floor, making sure that my shoulders do stay down and not this one. Keeping it down. So I'm doing neck flexion, rotation, extension, rotation, back to flexion, and then reverse. So I would be doing around 5 to 10 of that one. Then over this position is again, as I stretch out this hip, I can also do some shoulder stretches or shoulder circulations or rotations that I showed earlier on. So having my hand in front of my other shoulder, bring it all the way up, all the way back, and now we're going to rotate the shoulder in, putting my thumb down, rotating my shoulder in, then placing this hand behind my hip, and then reverse that whole movement, going all the way back up, side angle. This is how it looks. Okay, so if you do find that it's pretty tight or giving you cramps over this position, you can also lean onto your side to be able to access that position even better. The important thing when doing these warm-ups or stretches is to find your entry point. There's no point on being onto a certain position that makes your body too tense and not relaxed. That's gonna take away your focus on doing your stretch. That's why always find your entry point. Everyone's going to be different. Might as well find what works best for you. Okay, so we can either do it this way or this way. Side angle, it'll look like this. Bringing it all the way up, all the way up, all the way back, all the way back. Thumb facing down, internal rotation for the shoulder, and placing my hand behind my hip. Going all the way back up again. Okay, so we can also do it on the other side. We're doing the same thing. Again, 5 to 20 repetitions of this one. Again, you can stretch that one out. Okay, if you're feeling tight through here. Okay, the next one is we're gonna stand up now. And if I want to warm up my hips even better, as I'm doing a lot of stuff that would involve my legs, I'm going to do those rotations for my hips, same as to what I've explained earlier on. Okay, so flexion, external rotation, internal rotation, extension, internal rotation, external rotation or rotating out, and back to flexion. Okay, so I'll be doing it on both sides 5 to 10 times per side. The next thing that I'll be combining, my elbow circles. Okay, front angle, it's gonna look like this. You can also change your position here. If you do find that your hips are pretty tight, you can even go to what I call the half kneeling position. Toe position can be this way or this way. Then doing the same, elbow circles. Okay, or even tall kneeling position. You can do it this way. Then doing full circles for the elbows. You can even open up your palms. Okay, and then from there, you can do your wrist circles, flexion, extension, flexion. Again, 5 to 10 each side. Okay, and then shoulder circles. Again, you can do this one either kneeling position as to what I'm doing now, half kneeling, making sure that the hips do stay stable, giving a good stretch here, and for this foot, rotate it out to make that stretch even bigger. Okay, and then you can finish off by doing some forward bends. So trying to reach for your toes, trying to keep this knee straight, then bending these knees, getting your knees straight. You're going to feel a good stretch there around your hamstrings, bending your knees. How it looks from the front angle as I reach down. I want to make sure that my knees aren't caving in. Pushing out my knees, bending my knees to like a squat position, and trying to extend my knees. It's got a good stretch for the hamstrings. Okay. So there's some of those movements, and then I would want to finish off by doing some spinal work. So from the spine, what I'll be doing is having both of my hands on top of my shoulders. Everything below from my belly button all the way down to my feet doesn't move. What I'll be doing is just moving from my spine. So I'm flexing my spine, extending my spine, flexing my spine, extending my spine. Neutral position, rotate towards left, rotating towards right. Then now I can combine it to a big circle. Folding forward, rotate towards your left, extending backwards, slowly rotating towards your right, forward, bending, or flexion, and then reverse that whole movement. Alright, so what's important again, slow and controlled movements. Okay, so I'll be doing around 5 to 10 of those. See what works best for you. Let me know how it goes. Again, golden rule of thumb, 5 to 15 or 20 repetitions of each of those movements. Hope you enjoyed.